अस्सलामुअलैकुम। वेलकम टू डिजिटल फ्यूचर एआई स्कूल, जहां हम फ्यूचर की टेक्नोलॉजी आज सीखते हैं। आर्टिफिशियल इंटेलिजेंस सिर्फ एक कॉन्सेप्ट नहीं, ये एक डेली लाइफ पार्टनर है। आज हम थ्योरी से आगे जाकर रियल वर्ल्ड एग्जीक्यूशन सीखने जा रहे हैं। चाहे आप स्टूडेंट हो, प्रोफेशनल हो, पेरेंट हो या एंटरप्रेन्योर, एआई आपके डिसीजंस को क्लियर, आपके काम को फास्ट और आपके फ्यूचर को सिक्योर बना सकता है। मिस्टर ज़हीर अहमद मीर की रिसर्च पर मबनी ये चैप्टर्स आपको सिखाएंगे एआई को स्टेप बाय स्टेप कैसे यूज़ करें, कौन से जॉब्स चेंज होंगे, एआई एजेंट्स कैसे काम करते हैं और कैसे आप एआई के साथ अपना फ्यूचर मास्टर कर सकते हैं। दिस इज़ नॉट मोटिवेशन, दिस इज़ अ प्रैक्टिकल एआई प्लेबुक। लेट्स एंटर द एआई पावर फ्यूचर राइट नाउ।
Assalamu alaikum and welcome back to our channel, Digital Future AI School. Finally subscribe our channel, like and share with friends. This is the episode 24 of Book AI Agent Makers, written by Mr. Zahir Ahmad Mir.
Welcome back to the deep dive. Today, we are really undertaking what I think is a critical mission. We're not here for a theoretical chat about AI.
No, not at all.
We are providing a genuine, comprehensive playbook. It's all derived directly from the sources you shared with us. This is a blueprint for making AI mastery a real thing in your daily life.
Okay, let's unpack that, because the mission today, it feels pretty profound. We're trying to shift AI from being this, impressive background technology, maybe a novelty you use once in a
I
while.
like something you play with.
Exactly. And move it into being a powerful, ethical, daily partner, something that genuinely multiplies what you're capable of doing. We're going past the abstract ideas and into the step-by-step reality of it.
That's it. And the sources we've gone through cover so much ground. It's incredible. We're moving from the most basic, but also most essential mechanic of interaction.
Which is just how to ask a good question.
Just how to ask a good question.
Yeah.
All the way up to the massive long-term impact on the global economy and, your individual career path. We're going to look at specific high-value use cases.
Yeah.
The absolutely critical skill of knowing when not to trust what it tells you.
That feels like the most important part.
It might be. And then finally, the path to becoming an AI leader, not just another user.
So the central question we're really trying to answer for you, the learner, is this. How do you get from just copying and pasting some generic command into a chatbot to actually making AI your smartest, most impactful partner in, every part of your professional, academic, and even your personal life?
And that mastery, it all begins with the language of the machine.
Yeah.
How you talk to it.
All right, let's dive right into that then. The core mechanics of how to interact effectively. The sources make a really crucial distinction right at the start. They say successful AI usage isn't about being a technical wizard or, some kind of programmer.
No, not at all.
It's fundamentally about human communication. It's about learning to ask good questions. If you can just articulate what you need clearly, the AI can deliver. And for that, we've been given a simple but really effective 4-part formula.
What's so fascinating about this is how this structure it completely eliminates the barrier to entry for beginners.
Yeah.
So many people struggle with their first few AI interactions because the outputs are just vague and useless.
Yeah, you type something in and you get junk back and you think, well, this is overrated.
Exactly. But the source outlines this straightforward, I'd almost say mandatory, method. Goal in a context, a constraints, and finally, tone. By structuring your request this way, you instantly go from these generic prompts that give you mediocre results to highly specific requests that deliver something you can actually use right away.
Let's spend some real time on this formula because it feels like this is the foundation. This is the skill that everything else is built on. So first up is the goal. Now, this seems obvious, but people really rush it.
They do.
They type, write something about marketing. That's not a goal. It's just a topic.
Yeah.
The goal has to define the specific desired output. Is it write an email or explain this concept, create a study plan, or maybe draft 5 social media posts?
Yeah,
right?
It needs a verb. What do you want it to do?
Yes. If the goal isn't a clear verb and a noun, the output is just going to be way too broad to be any good.
And then, right after that, you need the foundation for that goal, context. Context is all that vital background information that takes the answer from being generic to actually being relevant to you.
Okay, so what does that include?
Well, you have to tell the AI who the audience is. Is this for a PhD peer review, or is it for a primary school student? What specific subject are you covering, and what's the purpose? Is it for a school project? Is it for the office? Is it a business presentation where you're trying to get funding?
Can you give an example?
Sure. Let's say you ask the AI to write an email about the quarterly results. Without any context, you might get back a 2-page financial report summary full of jargon.
Right, which is useless to most people.
Totally useless.
Right.
But if you provide the context and say, the email is for non-financial stakeholders who only care about revenue growth and operational efficiency, then the AI knows exactly what to include and, maybe more importantly, what to leave out.
Ah, okay. That makes perfect sense. Then we add the critical structure, and this is through constraints. You called this the powerhouse step, where you limit the AI's freedom and you force it into a specific box.
It's essential for preventing that information overload we've all seen.
Yeah.
We've all had AI generate, 5,000 words when you only needed 500.
Yes. The wall of text.
Constraints are the rules of the road. This includes details like the maximum or minimum word count, the specific language you need, is it Urdu or English, the required formality level. You can even specify the target age group for an explanation.
So it can be structural too, like use bullet points.
Exactly. Use bullet points only. Or it could be directional, like do not discuss the political implications of this topic.
Yeah.
By adding these limits, you're ensuring the output isn't just accurate, but it's also functional for what you actually need to do with it.
And finally, we define the emotional quality through tone. Does it need to sound friendly or highly formal, motivational, or just strictly neutral and analytical?
Tone is so subtle, but it's so important. If you're drafting an internal company policy, the tone has to be authoritative. If you're writing to an unhappy customer, it needs to be empathetic and responsive.
So by using this structured approach, goal, context, constraints, tone, you get clear, usable output every single time. And it gets you over that initial hurdle of just staring at a blank box and thinking, what do I even type?
Precisely. And the sources then immediately show us how this detailed prompting translates into real, actionable results in 2 core areas: personal organization and professional output.
Let's look at the personal applications first. I was really struck by the examples for organizing the day and building habits. It's like having a personal behavioral architect.
It really is. Take the prompt for organizing a day. The user isn't just asking for a schedule. They're providing these detailed, non-negotiable constraints that are based on their own values.
What were they again?
It was something like, I wake up at 7 a.m., sleep at 11:00 p.m., include 8 hours of dedicated work, 1 hour for exercise, 1 hour for Quran study, 2 hours for family time, and 1 hour for learning AI.
Wow, so that's very specific.
Incredibly, crucially, they've constrained 13 hours out of their 16 waking hours. The AI's job is then just to solve that logistical puzzle. It creates a personalized functional schedule that allocates those hours effectively and integrates all the user's priorities, which, a simple calendar app would really struggle to balance automatically.
And it does the same for more complex long-term things like changing your behavior. The source gives the example of asking the AI to help me build a 30-day habit plan to walk daily and reduce sugar.
Yes, and they specifically ask it to break the plan into weekly incremental steps and to add daily motivation tips.
See, that moves the AI beyond just being a scheduler. It becomes a genuine coach, a project manager for your own life.
It does. It takes that big, overwhelming goal to, change my diet and exercise, and it structures it into these manageable, tiny steps. So week 1 might be walk for 15 minutes every day and replace 1 sugary drink with water. Week 2 then escalates that a little bit. This proactive structuring gives you a clear roadmap, and it helps manage that psychological friction of starting a new habit.
Okay, now here's where it gets really, really interesting for me. Moving beyond just scheduling. It's using AI as a true thinking partner. This is where it helps with complex personal decisions by being this impartial, neutral sounding board.
This is AI applying the Socratic method, really. When you're facing a complex problem like deciding between 2 jobs, job A or job B, or a huge life change like moving to a new city, you can prompt the AI to intervene, not with an answer, but with probing questions.
So what would that prompt look like?
It might be something like, I'm confused about 2 options, job A and job B. Ask me 10 questions to help me think clearly about all the variables I should be considering.
And what the AI does there is invaluable. It forces you, the human, to explicitly consider things you might have subconsciously ignored or forgotten.
Exactly. Things like the long-term career path, the impact on your spouse's career, the exact cost of living difference, or the company culture in each place. The AI just generates the structure for your own critical thinking. It allows you to evaluate the data clearly before it hands the final decision back to you for judgment.
It's like a mirror for your own thoughts, but without any human bias or emotional baggage attached.
It is. And that's a massive leap from AI as a content generator to AI as a decision support system.
Okay, so now let's transition to professional life. The core strategy that the sources advocate for here is draft first, refine later. This is all about letting the AI do the initial heavy lifting.
The 80% of routine writing.
Right. So the human can then focus on that critical 20%, the
Right.
editing, the polishing, injecting the human nuance, and of course, ensuring it's all factually accurate.
This is about eliminating what I call administrative drag. Professionals spend so much time just crafting the basic structure and language of documents. With AI, you can create the first draft of emails, detailed policy notes, quarterly reports, presentations, complex proposals.
Give me a specific example, like for a lawyer.
Okay, a lawyer might spend hours trying to structure a complex legal application. With AI, they can provide the facts and the required legal framework and then ask, draft the first version of a legal application arguing breach of contract based on these three facts. The tone must be formal and persuasive.
So the AI handles the wordsmithing.
Yes. It handles the language crafting, freeing the lawyer up to immediately start reviewing for legal accuracy and strategic positioning. It's a huge time saver.
It must also help immensely with just brainstorming and ideation for a business.
Oh, absolutely. Instead of spending a whole day trying to dream up new marketing angles, the prompt can be, generate 10 innovative ideas for marketing a boutique consulting firm to clients in the pharmaceutical sector, focusing on the theme of efficiency and compliance. And just like that, the professional gets 10 structured ideas in 30 seconds, ready for a human to filter and develop.
And this utility also extends into the learning environment, which I think is a huge deal for our learner audience. It addresses that big challenge of simplification and speed of understanding.
The power of tailored simplification here is immense. Anyone who's struggling with a complex subject, say quantum physics or supply chain logistics, can now tailor the explanation to their specific level of understanding, or even their preferred way of learning.
So instead of reading some dense academic paper,
Exactly. The source suggests prompts like, explain blockchain technology to me as if I am 12 years old. That forces simplicity and gets right to the core concepts. Or you can use a specific cultural analogy like, use a cricket example to explain the concept of probability and conditional likelihood.
that is personalized, rapid education delivered instantly. It turns these dense, inaccessible subjects into something manageable.
And it turns concepts into curriculum. It can create things like a 30-day curriculum to learn basic accounting, 1 hour a day, tailored for a complete beginner. This is fundamentally changing who has access to education.
Finally, the sources touch on family life and also the immediate needs of an entrepreneur. AI isn't just for big global businesses, it's a helper in the home and for small business owners.
For parents and educators, it's invaluable for just organization and ideas. Instead of racking your brain for creative ways to spend time with the kids, you can ask for a curated list. Suggest 10 screen-free weekend activities for children aged 6 to 9, focusing on nature and art.
And for the administrative stuff that just eats up so much family time.
Oh, definitely. The prompt could be, summarize this 4-page school circular into clear, actionable bullet points showing dates, required signatures, and cost. It just manages that administrative burden, giving you more time for actual high-quality family engagement.
And for the entrepreneur who's just starting out, the efficiency gain is immediate. They get access to resources that were previously only available to huge firms.
An entrepreneur can achieve instant market validation and structuring. For example, I want to start an online service helping people file taxes in Pakistan. Help me list target customers, the 5 main services, 3 pricing ideas, low, medium, high, and 2 key marketing channels suitable for a small budget.
And that instantly generates a business outline that could have taken days of research.
Weeks, maybe. He gets them moving quickly toward designing their process and generating content, like writing 5 social media posts to explain the importance of tax filing in simple terms.
The core safety note from all of this seems crystal clear. Always review, always verify facts, always edit before you use it, and never ever share confidential data.
Absolutely not. No passwords, no bank details, no sensitive personal health information. Use AI as a capable tool, not as a confidant.
So that structure goal, context, constraints, and tone applied across personal and professional life gives us a really solid foundation. Now, let's unpack this even more and look at the sheer breadth of what AI can actually do, moving into the specific professional applications from Chapter 25.
Let's do it.
We've seen the basic formula now. So let's dive into this massive list of 50 applications that the sources provide. I mean, this chapter really highlights the universal nature of this technology.
It really does. And you don't need to master all 50. That's not the point.
Yeah.
But even mastering, say, 5 to 10 of these really high-value areas can fundamentally transform how you approach your work and your learning.
The list of 50 just reinforces that idea that AI supports almost any area that involves information, writing, planning, creativity.
Exactly. Anywhere there's a movement, analysis, or creation of information. So we can group these applications into these high-value thematic clusters to really emphasize the most impactful areas for a learner who wants, quick, meaningful results.
Okay, let's start with career and professional growth. That's uses 16 through 20. For our listeners who are prepping for meetings, looking for advancement, or even thinking about a career change, these seem essential.
These applications are all about rapid strategic self-improvement and positioning yourself better. For example, high-value uses include writing customized CVs and cover letters. They can be instantly adapted and optimized for different job descriptions.
So instead of spending hours tailoring a document yourself.
Right. You just feed the AI your core CV and the job description, and it generates a targeted application that speaks directly to what the company is asking for in the ad.
And I think maybe the most impactful use for a job seeker is the interview prep.
Oh, absolutely. AI is fantastic for preparing for job interviews through these realistic mock Q&A sessions. You can give it a prompt like, act as an interviewer for a senior marketing manager position. Ask me 3 difficult behavioral questions using the STAR method format, and then give me a critique of my answers based on clarity and strategic depth.
So it simulates that high-pressure environment.
And it provides an objective evaluation that, a friend might be too polite to give you. It also provides strategic direction. It can suggest career paths based on your existing skills and help you review your past performance against industry benchmarks, identifying specific skill gaps you need to work on.
That's incredible. It turns what used to be a very subjective self-assessment process into something that's data-supported and actionable.
Now, moving on to finance and money management. That's uses 36 to 38. These focus on making financial concepts and management accessible to everyone, no matter their background.
Money management can feel so intimidating, right? All the jargon and the complexity. The sources show AI helping in these really practical but non-advisory ways.
Right. It's about the mechanics of financial organization. Building a monthly budget based on your income and spending is a critical first step. You can input your anonymized spending categories, and the AI will classify your expenses to help you spot where you're wasting money or where you can save.
Like finding all those subscriptions you forgot about.
Identify all non-essential subscriptions and total their cost.
Exactly.
It also helps businesses by generating professional invoice and proposal templates to standardize their operations and make them look more professional.
But again, its real power here seems to be educational. It's about breaking down those really dense concepts.
And that is the crucial point. AI can explain basic financial concepts, like tax compliance, how inflation works, or compound interest in simple, digestible language, tailored for a beginner. For someone just starting a small business, understanding these terms is critical, but a textbook can be impenetrable.
So AI breaks down that complexity.
It offers a clarity that assists comprehension, but, and we have to repeat this critical caveat, it does not replace professional licensed financial advice. Think of it as a calculator for comprehension, not a financial advisor.
Yeah, very important distinction. Okay, now let's talk about the fuel for any writer, creator, or entrepreneur. Creativity and content. This is uses 46 through 50. The ideation engine.
This is where AI just truly shines. Eliminates the fear of the blank page. If you're stuck on any creative project, AI can instantly generate the foundation for you.
So it generates ideas for books, blogs, videos.
And crucially for us, it writes podcast scripts and show outlines. It provides the bulk structure and the flow that we, as humans, then come in and refine with specific anecdotes and our own depth of knowledge.
So the sources really position AI not as the author, but as the fastest structural engineer you could ever hire.
Exactly. It designs effective slogans, taglines, campaign themes. For a small business launching a new product, you could ask the AI for 50 potential taglines focused on durability and affordability. That saves hours of human brainstorming time and lets the human focus on selecting the best option and making sure it aligns with the brand's ethical message.
Finally, the sources touch on a very technical and sensitive area, law, policy, and governance. That's uses 41 to 43. And the instruction here is crystal clear. This is support use only. It absolutely requires professional legal review.
But the value it adds, even in a support role, is immense. In these high-information fields, AI excels as a powerful organizer and summarizer of complexity. Just think about the sheer volume of text involved in any legal or policy work.
Right, hundreds or thousands of pages.
AI can summarize laws, complex policy documents, detailed judicial judgments. It can convert hundreds of pages into bullet points detailing the key findings, procedural rules, and the precedents that were cited.
Can you give us a concrete example of how a professional might use that in a high-stakes situation?
Sure. A lawyer preparing for a consultation might input a really lengthy document defining a new corporate compliance law. The prompts could be: summarize the key compliance deadlines and potential penalties for non-adherence in this policy document. It just filters out all the noise and delivers really the critical, actionable data.
It can also draft the first versions of things like legal notices, right?
Yes, or internal policy applications. It provides the necessary formal structure and language. And most valuably, it helps organize complex case facts and timelines, which is invaluable for lawyers preparing their arguments and make sure no date or piece of evidence gets lost. But again, the AI organizes the information. The lawyer must provide the legal judgment, the strategic interpretation, and the ultimate ethical responsibility for the advice given.
So the overwhelming takeaway from this whole list of 50 uses is that AI is truly universal. If your job or your education involves moving, analyzing, or creating information, AI offers immediate scalable value.
It really democratizes capabilities on a global scale. A small entrepreneur gets content generation power that was previously reserved for multi-million-dollar marketing firms. A student gets access to a personalized tutor. The power is undeniable.
Which brings us to the next critical segment. Because mastering this tool means understanding its absolute weaknesses. When can you trust it? And when should you step back, verify, and assume it might be wrong?
That transition is critical. Let's move to the high-stakes critical thinking required for mastery.
Yeah.
Because the stakes here are professional and sometimes deeply personal.
Right. This is where we go from just being a user of the tool to becoming a true master by understanding its inherent limitations. AI is a super assistant. It's capable of incredible speed and structure, but, and this is a big but,
Yeah.
it is demonstrably not perfect.
Not even close.
So knowing when to trust it is arguably the most vital skill for navigating the AI-driven 21st century.
The sources define two very clear zones that every learner needs to just memorize. First, you have the reliable zone. This is where AI acts optimally as a super assistant. This includes things like synthesizing information, structuring it, and generating volume.
So generating ideas, drafting text, summarizing long documents.
Organizing your chaotic thoughts, explaining conceptual material, and creating structured plans and checklists. In these areas, the AI is basically just synthesizing existing knowledge and formatting it efficiently for a human to consume.
But then there's the high-risk zone. This is where its confidence can dangerously mask a fundamental error. This is where the AI's ability to hallucinate, to generate plausible-sounding, yet completely false information, becomes a major threat.
And this caution is absolutely non-negotiable. You must verify AI outputs in areas concerning historical facts, legal points, medical topics, specific financial decisions or advice, religious or theological explanations, and any critical number, date, or statistic.
Why is it so bad at these things?
Because these models are trained on patterns, not on truth. They optimize for what sounds correct based on the statistical likelihood of how words are arranged, not for factual accuracy. So when an AI generates a fake court case or a false historical date, it does so with this absolute unemotional conviction. And that's the greatest danger.
So if the confidence of the AI is misleading, how do we give the listener, the learner, a simple, immediate way to check themselves? The source provides a really clear, effective trust checklist.
And this needs to become a reflex. It really boils down to three simple self-check questions. First, is this life or death or legally critical? If the answer is yes, you stop. You stop using the AI immediately, and you transfer that information request to a vetted human expert.
A licensed doctor, a lawyer.
A certified financial advisor, a credentialed theologian. The stakes are just too high for an automated generalization. You cannot risk your health, your money, or your freedom on an AI answer. Period.
Okay, that's number one. What's the second question?
Second, can I cross-check this information easily? If the information is verifiable, like a statistic, a simple historical date, a company name, a public policy, you should always verify it using at least one other trusted, established source. If you ask the AI for the precise tax rate in a specific region, you don't accept its word. You do a quick search on the government's official website. That little bit of friction is required for safety.
And the third question is often the most insightful one for measuring critical thinking. Does the answer look too perfect or extreme?
Exactly. If the output seems unrealistically smooth, too easy, or it promises an unbelievable result, like a guaranteed investment return or a miraculous health cure, you have to proceed with intense skepticism.
So what's the solution then?
The solution is to ask the AI to deconstruct its own answer. Ask it to show its reasoning, to list its sources if the model allows that, or to present alternative contradictory viewpoints. Critical thinking starts the moment you question the overly perfect answer.
This systematic approach leads us to the guiding principle of best practice. AI is the first draft, but the human remains the final judge. We have to maintain that intellectual and ethical hierarchy.
And that hierarchy must never be inverted, ever. Use the AI to generate the ideas, the structure, the raw text, the first draft. That's its strength, speed, and volume. But you, the human, must apply your trained mind, your contextual knowledge, your ethics, and your unique experience to finalize the result. The source calls AI a calculator for ideas, but you are the strategic decision maker. You are responsible for factual accuracy, ethical alignment, and the ultimate output.
We should probably address the specific, tangible dangers of blind trust. It's not just about getting a date wrong in a history paper. The consequences can ripple out into professional negligence.
Blind trust leads directly to compounding error. If you rely on a false legal precedent that an AI generated, you risk making fundamentally wrong professional decisions. You could damage your reputation, create legal or moral problems through negligence. The final mantra here, which must guide every single interaction, is paramount. Trust AI as a helper, never worship it as a master.
Mastery means recognizing the tool's limitations.
And asserting your ethical and intellectual sovereignty over the output every single time.
So once we've established that critical safety net, the ability to guide and verify the tool, we can move on to the massive topic of career transformation. What does this required mastery mean for the economy, for the individual worker, and how do we future-proof ourselves?
Chapter 27 clarifies a really crucial point. While AI is a tool for everyone, its greatest immediate impact is in democratizing access to knowledge and opportunity. It's a critical equalizer for specific, often underserved groups.
So who stands to gain the most immediate, powerful advantage from using AI?
Well, students and young people are highly empowered. AI gives them instant access to world-class knowledge and personalized tutors, something that was historically reserved for the elite. This just accelerates their ability to build modern skills. And, critically, it boosts their capacity to start businesses much earlier than previous generations.
Just by using AI for complex structuring tasks.
Exactly. Drafting a business plan, generating marketing copy, designing initial product concepts. It levels the global playing field almost instantly.
And what about existing professionals, the lawyers, engineers, teachers, bankers who are already just swamped with information and complex workflows?
These professionals are in a state of constant information overload and, as we said, administrative drag. AI is the critical tool for triage and high-speed processing. It helps them process vast amounts of information in less time, draft complex documents quickly, analyze massive data sets. Professionals who adopt AI immediately shift their energy from processing volume to generating strategic insight. They become demonstrably more productive and therefore more valuable.
I have to say, the discussion around senior citizens and people with disabilities was particularly moving. AI's role here seems focused entirely on independence and dignity.
It's a profound application of the technology, and it's rooted in assistance. AI can manage complex medication schedules and health routines through personalized alerts. It helps reduce social isolation through advanced supportive conversational interfaces that can act as companions. And it makes digital devices and information access vastly easier for those with motor or cognitive disabilities. It supports mobility and independence, fundamentally improving quality of life by reducing reliance on others for basic tasks.
Okay, let's transition to the major concern for many of our listeners: the fear about jobs. Our sources confront this directly, explaining that jobs won't just disappear wholesale, they're going to fundamentally shift.
And that is the necessary framework for understanding what's coming. We have to categorize the shift into 3 buckets: shrink, transform, and arise.
Okay, so which jobs will shrink?
Jobs that will shrink are those characterized by low complexity, high repetition, and a low requirement for human judgment or creativity. Think about simple data entry, manual form processing, basic bank teller functions, and that low-level customer support that only handles routine FAQs and password resets. Automation will just handle these tasks faster, cheaper, and with higher accuracy.
But the vast majority of existing professional roles will transform. So it's not about replacement. It's a radical shift from doing repetitive work to overseeing, guiding, and deciding.
This is the critical transformation point for the middle and high-skilled workforce. Take a teacher. Their job shifts radically. Instead of spending 60% of their time on manual grading, standardized lesson prep, and admin tasks, they become an AI-assisted learning designer.
What does that mean?
They use AI analytics to identify exactly where each student is struggling and then design hyper-personalized learning paths. This maximizes the human element of mentorship.
And the impact on highly regulated fields is similar, like the lawyer we talked about earlier.
Precisely. A lawyer moves from spending days on document review and organizing facts to becoming an AI-augmented strategist and negotiator. They leverage AI to organize case facts, summarize discovery, even predict potential litigation outcomes based on historical data. Their human role pivots entirely toward creative legal strategy, client counseling, and ethical negotiation. The job gets harder, but much more interesting and strategic.
And this professional transformation, of course, that's what fuels the creation of entirely new jobs that will arise, roles that didn't even exist 5 or 10 years ago but are now becoming indispensable.
The sources list several emerging roles that bridge human judgment and machine capability. First is the AI prompt engineer, who we've already defined as the person mastering that goal context constraints tone formula and applying it at an industrial scale. They're optimizing the flow of information between human strategy and machine execution.
We're also seeing the rise of AI ethics officers.
Yes, who are tasked with ensuring responsible development and deployment, auditing models for bias, and establishing the moral guardrails of the system.
Those roles sound fascinating, designing the ethical infrastructure for a digital workforce.
They're absolutely crucial, and coupled with that, you have roles like AI content strategists, who blend human creativity with automated production capacity, ensuring that the high-volume content generated by AI maintains brand consistency and quality control. These new careers require uniquely human skills: creativity, ethical reasoning, deep contextual understanding combined with technical fluency in guiding the AI.
So given all these shifts, what's the definitive future-proofing strategy for the listener right now based on this source material?
It's a multi-part strategy, and it's focused on investing in your intrinsic human value. You must focus your energy where AI cannot compete. Work that requires genuine human judgment, leadership, empathy, ethical reasoning, and complex emotional intelligence. The goal is simple, but the execution requires commitment. Become a person who is deeply integrated with AI in their field, mastering the tools to amplify your existing expertise instead of remaining a person who risks being replaced by AI because they refuse to adopt the new capabilities. Mastery secures your relevance tomorrow.
And mastery, then, is about scaling your influence, which brings us perfectly to the final segment, moving from user to supervisor by understanding the next phase of AI evolution, AI agents. Okay, this is where the power of AI truly scales beyond just drafting and analysis, the concept of the AI agent. The sources describe these as conceptual digital employees.
Yes, systems that can work autonomously, 247, without getting tired or needing a paycheck, as long as they are given clear marching orders.
So an AI agent isn't a single prompt. It's a whole system designed to fulfill a single overarching multi-step goal.
It operates autonomously. It receives that defined goal, it observes its environment, which could be incoming data, emails, market changes. It takes sequential, self-corrected actions step by step, and it adapts its approach based on the results it's seeing.
That is a fundamental conceptual shift. We're moving from asking the AI to do a single task, like summarize this document, to commanding it to manage an entire workflow, like manage my meeting preparation.
Exactly. We're talking about systems that can monitor market trends, analyze new data, send follow-up emails based on a trigger, update records across multiple platforms, and reply to simple customer queries, all without direct, moment-to-moment human intervention as long as the agent stays within its defined limits.
Conceptually, designing an agent sounds incredibly complex, something reserved only for engineers. But the source material suggests it's a thinking process rooted in the same principles as that 4-part prompt.
It is a logical extension. Anyone can apply this process to automate a part of their life. You just need to define 4 components. The overall goal, like keep my calendar clear for priority tasks. The inputs, what data does it need? Calendar access, email feed, project management updates. The actions, what specific things should it do? Send an email, save a file, flight a request, and most critically, the limits. What should it never do autonomously without your explicit human approval?
That limit step is the ultimate safety break. It links directly back to our discussion on trust and verification.
Is the ethical core of designing an agent. The sources heavily stress the human-in-the-loop requirement. Even when AI agents are running complex, repetitive workflows, the human remains the absolute owner and supervisor. You approve the important actions, like financial transfers or major client commitments. You review performance for bias or error. And you adjust the strategic goals and the ethical limits. You are the CEO of your digital workforce.
To structure the path toward mastering this complex technology, moving from simple user to agent supervisor, the sources define a clear progression, the 4 levels of AI mastery.
And this helps the learner benchmark their progress and define their next steps. You start at awareness, simply knowing what AI is. Most users are here. You move quickly to usage actively, using tools daily for basic tasks. The real competence begins at integration, where you're designing entire workflows around AI capabilities, transforming how you work. And the highest level, leadership, involves guiding others in ethical AI adoption and setting the standards for your team or organization.
And for anyone listening who feels energized by this path and wants a concrete starting point, the sources lay out a very practical 30-day AI learning plan to move from beginner to confident integrated user. Let's walk through that week-by-week structure because this is the actionable takeaway.
This plan is designed for immediate daily application. It requires about an hour of focused effort each day. So week 1 is basics and concept. This is foundational learning. You focus on understanding what AI and large language models are, and then you commit to using that 4-part formula, JCCT daily, for basic tasks: writing, explaining, summarizing. The key is intense experimentation. Try 2-3 different prompt styles each day to see how the AI responds.
Then in week 2, work and study immigration, the rubber hits the road. You have to force the tool into your core professional or academic responsibilities. Draft those difficult internal emails, outline those complex reports, create checklists and strategic plans for your actual tasks. This is where AI stops being a novelty and starts saving you real time and effort.
Week 3, projects and creation, demands a deliverable. You choose a small defined project, a mini ebook on each subject, a comprehensive presentation outline for a client, a social media content plan, and you force yourself to use AI to structure and create the bulk of the content. This builds genuine proficiency because the stakes are real. You're delivering a tangible product.
And finally, week 4 is reflection and optimization. This is about advanced use and safety. You use AI to review its own work and suggest improvements, a sort of metacognitive exercise in quality control. You also commit to learning one extra specialized AI tool, an image generator, a code assistant, whatever. And most crucially, you write your own personal AI usage rules for safety and ethics based on that trust checklist.
And writing those personal rules is the capstone activity. It forces you, the human, to consciously define your ethical and safety boundaries before you grant power to your digital assistant. It's the final step in establishing your sovereignty over the technology.
The long-term strategy, as the sources emphasize, involves continuous learning, joining professional AI communities, and importantly, teaching others, because teaching deepens your own understanding and forces you into that leadership tier of mastery.
And that ties into the ultimate realization from all this. Your greatest advantage in this new world is your humanity. To secure your future and scale your impact, you have to master the AI tools. But you must combine that technical skill with strong character, truth, justice, and fairness. AI can multiply your abilities to an unprecedented degree, but you have to decide what you use that magnified power for.
So we've laid out the formula for better prompting that gets usable output. We've explored AI's universal applications, established the critical safety checks for those high-risk zones, and charted the definitive path toward professional mastery through the 30-day plan and the use of AI agents.
To synthesize everything we've covered today, AI is, without a doubt, the smartest and fastest partner you will ever have in life and work. If you commit to learning it through a structured methodology like the 30-day plan, if you use it wisely by rigidly applying that trust checklist, and if you guide it with your strong, inherent human values and ethics, it won't just secure your professional future. It will fundamentally multiply your impact in the world, shifting you from a mere user to a powerful supervisor.
So, what does this all mean for you, the listener, as you step into that role of supervisor? The source materials suggest that mastering AI is ultimately about multiplying your impact by leveraging the power of AI agents, your conceptual digital employees that can work 24/7. Given that incredible constant capability, how will you define the ethical constraints of your very first digital employee? Think specifically about what you will allow your AI agent to never do, what critical action it must always seek explicit human approval for, and what information it must never handle. That deliberate definition of power and boundaries is the true measure of mastery, knowing your power and consciously defining your limits. Thank you for sharing your sources and for going on this deep dive with us. Until next time.